The unofficial second half of the NBA season is officially upon us, and there's no shortage of juicy storylines to follow as we head into the home stretch of the 2021-2022 campaign. So, which teams do you need to keep your eyes on over the next 2 months? Which players could swing the playoff picture? And what other drama is going down in the association? Let's break it down. Sit back, relax, and take this in. Before we get going, a quick reminder to like this video and subscribe to our channel. As always, we appreciate you. And we have to kick it off with the Phoenix Suns, who were hit with a bombshell over the All-Star weekend. ESPN's Tim Bontemps reported that Suns guard Chris Paul will be out for 6 to 8 weeks with an avulsion fracture in his right thumb. That is a huge blow to the reigning Western Conference champs, who also happen to have the best record in the NBA and a plus 10.5 point differential with the point guard on the court. Since being traded to the Thunder in 2019, Paul has been remarkably healthy and has only missed 4 regular season games in his nearly 2 years in a Suns uniform. Cameron Payne, Elfrid Payton, and newly acquired Aaron Holiday will have to pick up the slack at the point guard spot for the Suns, but the burden to make plays and create for others will most likely fall to Devin Booker, who ran point in Phoenix prior to Paul's arrival. The biggest question now is how Paul looks once he returns. A thumb injury to his shooting hand isn't exactly a recipe for success. Then again, if you're a glass half full type, this injury could be a blessing for the Suns, who have relied too heavily on Paul's shot creating abilities. The next 8 weeks will provide them with a real opportunity to learn how to generate offense and ultimately win without him. And also, giving Chris Paul 2 months off to rest his legs for what should be a long playoff run, that's a bonus. And speaking of injuries, the surging Denver Nuggets should also be getting a boost in short order with the returns of max contract guys Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Nuggets president of basketball operations Tim Connolly recently told the local Denver radio station that both Murray and MPJ are expected to return in the quote-unquote not-so-distant future. Murray, who underwent surgery to repair an ACL tear in April of last year, has been the Nuggets' second option next to reigning MVP Nikola Jokic for the last 4 seasons. And Porter Jr., who had back surgery on December 1st, has been a key third cog in the Nuggets' versatile offense. The returns of Murray and MPJ would give the Nuggets more than a puncher's chance against the top contenders in the West. With Jokic having another MVP-like season, this could be the exact type of boost Denver needs to finally get over the hump after 3 straight fruitless playoff runs. Regardless though, the Nuggets should be there come postseason time. The same can't be said about the wildly disappointing Los Angeles Lakers, who are hoping their second half of the season isn't anything like the first. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and the rest of the crew in purple and gold are 4 games below 500 coming out of the All-Star break, in 9th place in the Western Conference with no signs of things getting any better. If anything, it seems like there are signs of things getting worse. For starters, Davis is expected to miss at least 4 weeks with a foot sprain. Meanwhile, LeBron's agency Clutch Sports was reportedly frustrated with the Lakers for not making any trade deadline moves. Specifically, not pulling off a reported swap that would have sent the underperforming Westbrook and a 2027 first-round pick to Houston for John Wall. LeBron did nothing to defuse the situation either, and instead spent All-Star weekend, in his hometown I should add, thinking about his future and saying that he hasn't closed the door on a Cavaliers reunion. Now, LeBron, who isn't a free agent until the summer of 2023, has stated plainly that his intentions are to play with his son, Bronny James, who won't be draft eligible until 2024, the earliest. That's all speculation at this point, but LeBron's obvious frustration and a newfound focus on the future is only going to add more drama to a Lakers locker room that has seen tons of it this season and is still battling for a playoff spot with just 2 months left. Meanwhile, a team that seemingly has figured things out over the course of the season, unlike the Lakers, is their longtime rivals, the Boston Celtics, who own the 4th best record in the NBA since the calendar flipped to 2022. That can largely be attributed to their turnaround on defense, as they've gone from the 9th best defense in the league to the best defensive team in the NBA since January 1st. Allowing just over 100 points per 100 possessions. And don't expect them to regress in that department anytime soon. They've beefed up their defensive-minded core at the NBA's trade deadline by acquiring guard Derek White from San Antonio. With only 4.5 games separating them and first place in the East, anything is possible, to borrow from Celtics legend Kevin Garnett. And Boston might yet again be contenders. With all due respect to the Celtics, LeBron, Chris Paul, and the Nuggets though, we saved the best for last. Without a doubt, the most intriguing storyline of the second half has to be the impending debuts of James Harden and Ben Simmons with their new teams. Both players who were traded for one another in a deadline blockbuster have so many questions surrounding them, and the stakes are incredibly high for their respective franchises. Will Harden and Embiid gel together in Philadelphia? Will Harden be willing to give up the ball for Embiid, who is having an MVP caliber season? Is Harden, who has been dealing with hamstring injuries, healthy enough to be a real game changer for the Sixers? As for the Nets, is Ben Simmons mentally ready to play basketball again after more than 7 months off? And how will the chemistry be in a locker room featuring Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, 3 players who don't exactly shy away from the drama? The Nets, much like the Lakers, are in a pressure cooker type of scenario, sitting in 8th place in a competitive Eastern Conference and having lost 8 of their last 10 games leading into the break. They need to turn things around and turn things around quickly, and hopefully be ready in time for Simmons' highly anticipated return to Philadelphia on March 10th. So many questions, so many storylines, and only 2 months to watch it all unfold. So what do you think? Is there a storyline you're looking forward to? Let us know in the comments, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.